What's... Oh, no, it did the thing. I was worried it was going to do this, BaRRa, where it didn't use my webcam. I was worried it was going to do this, BaRRa. And now it's going to echo because I didn't... Dude, I don't know how to do this anymore. Wait, is it this? Hey!
I mean, it's been a while. It's been like 2 weeks. Yeah, you're back.
I'm horrible at this, dude. Should we share the viewing audience and our embarrassment of what we just realized?
Which part? What I did or what you did?
Well, now I don't know what you did.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, then why'd you say what you did?
Well, I thought you did something.
I did do something. We coordinated having adapting on the podcast before Christmas, and then I forgot until you said, "Hey, are we getting Kenneth on here?" right before we went live, and I went, "No, I forgot." So I'm very sorry to everybody and to Kenneth. It's my fault. I should have double checked. But
we could have done an overlay list.
Yeah, but we didn't get a chance to promote it. I would have felt bad. Like, I don't know, man.
All right. Yeah, Shaq can get mad at you, not me.
It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. I don't know how to run a podcast anymore.
I never mess up.
In 2020, I was good at doing podcasts. 2021, all bets are off. You know, that's
dude. You're starting the whole year off bad.
Horrible start to this year of the podcast, year 2. You hate to see it. BaRRa, happy belated birthday. Your birthday is on New Year's Day. How did you celebrate hitting your 30s?
I tweeted that this is the only day that you guys can make fun of me for this year, and then I didn't look at Twitter the rest of the day, and I literally did nothing. Wait, no, I scrimmed.
Okay.
And then outside of that, nothing.
Did they let you
every year?
Like on your birthday, did you get to like counter pick? Like, was that your in scrims? Like, instead of top 2ing Soul for you, did they go like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
Let me, BaRRa, why don't you get to wait and see until the very end of the draft?
Oh, wait, I think, no. Those scrims were good. I enjoyed those scrims.
Oh, so you, okay. Now,
I can't go into that, but that was a good day.
Can't go into it, obviously. World's coming up. Can I make an educated guess on what that means?
Nope.
Okay. Anyways.
Because I might break on stream if you actually know.
Fair enough. Then
or if you hit too close.
Fair enough. Then I will not say anything. Got to be careful about what we are talking about strategy-wise because Worlds is starting tomorrow with the Community Joust Tournament stuff, but starting this week, we've got the Smite World Championship finally. Super excited to get into it. I don't know about you, BaRRa. This is something I wanted to talk about, and we're going to talk about it early, I suppose. I think this is the most nervous I've been for a Worlds since season... I want to say season 4. For me, on the casting side, this is the most nervous I've been. I was nervous all of season 3. I wasn't nervous season 4 Worlds until finals. And then I was really nervous. This year, I'm more nervous than I have been since then. Because normally I've got the crowd. Like, I don't have to worry about bringing the right amount of energy.
Oh, no, that's awkward.
It's going to be hard. And I'm worried that I'm going to overdo it and I'm not going to get, like, you know, it's been so hard to, like, casting from home. We're going to be energized because we're going to be in studio with one another. And that's going to be good. But, like, what if we get too excited and we're yelling, like, in between games? And that's bad. That's really bad for your vocal cords. That's a really easy way to lose your voice. I'm just nervous about it, man. I'm nervous. I don't know. What about you?
I didn't think about that from like a casting perspective. That's kind of funny to bring the right amount of hype. I mean,
it's hard.
Since it's Worlds, I think you can just always bring hype and it will be fine the entire time. Like just cast like the casters cast like League and just be very excited
in there.
Yeah. And just like be very excited the whole time. And I'm not nervous at all. Like I am just hard chilling right now. Like Scrum's been going good. And I feel like we have, like, I don't want to sound cheesy, but, like, we've hit our stride, you know?
Yeah.
Things are looking up. I feel like we know what we want to do. And, yeah, I mean, ask me that the morning that we play. I mean, I might be a little nervous but I think this is the least nervous I've ever been for Worlds.
I was going to say, that doesn't, you know, I've known you for a while. Normally... you're excited, but normally I feel I get the interpretation that you're a little bit nervous going into Worlds, like a healthy amount of nervous. I would say this is probably the most relaxed you've seemed to me pre-Worlds. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I am hard chilling. I mean, it's easier to look at it from my perspective because it's online.
Yeah.
And I think there's normally like a nervous excitedness because I get to meet so many fans.
Yep.
And I get to just have that World's energy.
And you're going to get the nerd flu a week later, which you love.
Yep. I mean, I could have COVID right now and it's just building up. It's ready.
That would be your luck, wouldn't it?
Honestly, I'm just expecting it. Like, I'll wake up tomorrow morning and just feel like crap and be like, well,
here we go.
It's the bid. I got it.
Yeah, here we go. That's that would be your luck in that instance. No McDonald's this week, huh, Barry?
Nope. I've been eating very healthy.
Okay.
Basically no fast food, no like takeout stuff, just homegrown, straight from the store meals.
Right.
And I feel great.
Good. That's the way we want to hear. That's the way we want to do it. Okay, so in order to break down this world, think obviously asking you to pick a winner, very different, not something that we really want to do as you're competing. So I think that the best way for us to do this is I want to go team by team. We'll go in order that we're going to see them. And let's say if they're going to succeed, it's because they did X, or if they fail, it's because Y happened. Also, I want to highlight each team's most important player for them to do well. And in advance, if your favorite player isn't their most important player, it's not because we think they're bad. That's all.
Well, it is.
Well, they are bad for the record.
They are bad. They're terrible.
Okay, let's start with who we are going to see first, which is you, by the way. But on the schedule, it says Belt Slap versus Renegades. So I'm going to go with we're going to go with Belt Slap first. See, there's a little. If you don't want to talk about this matchup, I can talk about it because if that makes you more comfortable. But if you can, if Belt Slap is going to win a lot of games at Worlds, they're going to win Worlds. It means what happened?
Yeah, I don't know if I can answer this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, why don't I just take it?
Well, I mean, I can give like a caster answer if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But I'm
gonna give the caster answer.
We'll have two caster answers.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
I think Johnny needs to hyper carry.
Yeah.
And he is just the player that's been playing hyper carries for like 18 years.
Yep.
And when you're playing those things, you gotta pop off and you gotta hyper carry, which is obvious. So I'm not giving away anything.
Yeah.
But that's my caster answer. I'm not gonna go further into detail.
Sure.
But
and that's fair. Dave Dolson in the chat, by the way, just absolutely popped off. Dave, you gotta save some of these for Worlds, bro. Sam and Dave are doing their own version of our show in the chat. Sam asks Dave, who do you think Belt Slap's most important player is? And Dolson says, this week, their router. Unbelievable answer. Of course, the Belt Slap SML team playing from Europe on North American servers. So maybe Dave's right. Maybe their router is their most important team member this week. I agree with you. I think that if Belt Slap wins, it's because you can play hyper carries in the jungle, and Johnny does it to the level that he's been doing it to the SML for years, but against the best players theoretically playing at their best. So that would be something else. I think Belt Slap does not do well if the meta is fast, because this team has not shown me that they can play that style. They haven't had to, in their defense. Maybe they can be the ones to drag the meta down and slow it down a little bit. But if the meta is fast, I do not think Belt Slap is going to do well. Waiting to see if Barry has any follow-up. He does not, and we're moving on. Okay, fair enough.
I'm just going to sip my water.
Yep, just takes a deep sip of water. Oh, I've got some water too. Maybe I take a sip?
Drink as much as you want.
That's all I need. I was going to take a really long drink, but I decided that wasn't going to be good podcast content.
I like the way you put your mouth on it.
You good?
What? I just got a little distracted.
Okay. All right. Renegades. I don't know if you've heard of them. Okay. This is good energy going into a question about your team. Here's what I'm just taking this one right from the top.
Are you flustered, dog?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think Renegades are going to win if Lasbra is able to control the pace of the game for the team. I'm not that worried about Jake. I'm not that worried about any other part of the map. I think the biggest difference between Renegades when they pop off and Renegades when they don't is Lasbra being able to control the pace of the game. That's from my perspective. Therefore, I think Renegades' most important player to perform is Lasbra, because he has been the least consistent member of the team in my mind. Bear, I don't know if you want to take this or you want me to just go on the other part.
I'm going to give another
Give us the
very
caster answer.
shallow answer.
Yeah, I love that.
Um,
Wait, that's not the caster answer though, right? Caster answer
No,
is just
no,
like
this is
big
different.
brain. Okay, yeah, okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
huge brain, massive. You know everything.
Right.
We just have to play our game and not get distracted by the potential of things happening in a way that we don't see them happening. That's a good way to phrase
Wow.
that.
You
Thank
said
you.
nothing. That was impressive.
Exactly.
Nicely done. Those were English words put together that meant nothing. Well done.
Form almost a sentence.
It was a sentence.
And then for us to lose, it's just the opposite.
Okay.
I mean,
can you say what
yeah.
you said backwards?
Not exactly backwards, but I can say if we do not play our game and if we allow things to happen,
You get distracted.
yeah, if we get distracted and something about things happening in a way that we didn't see them happening.
Right. Someone takes a drink from a water bottle in front of you, and God forbid, you're getting distracted for sure. I'm going to say Renegades. Man, I don't know. It's tough because I mean this truthfully. I have not talked to BaRRa at all about their picks or anything like that. We have not communicated whatsoever. But something tells me, just based on the way that you guys played during the regular season, that if there's going to be a team that brings out some weird picks that force other teams to adjust, it's likely going to be a team like the Renegades. And if and sometimes things like this happen where you just think a certain god or a certain few gods in certain roles are good and they aren't, it's a really easy way to lose. Is just having all of your prep be wrong. And I think that's
Which is really funny.
which is really awesome. And
We love that.
And BaRRa, is there a worse feeling on the whole planet than like getting beat 2-0 in the first two games and realizing that all of your prep is wrong, and then you're like, well, what do we do? Do we stick to our prep that's wrong, or do we just adjust in the middle?
Benji showing up 1 minute before they're DQ'd and getting 3-0'd when you won 2 games.
Yeah, that is the worst feeling.
I think that might be the worst feeling I've experienced before.
That was horrible, dude.
That was horrible.
That was really
Especially because we had so many leads and, just whoop, there it goes.
Good Lord. I had removed that from my mind, but
Oh, it's still there.
yeah.
For me.
So I'm sorry.
It's
to hear
always
that.
there.
Okay, next team we will see on Tuesday will be Obey and Sanguine. We'll start with Obey.
Obey's pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I think Sino is Obey's most important player.
Yep.
By
far.
Not close. I don't think any other
Marvin.
team. I don't think any other team has a bigger gap between their most important player and their second most important player in terms of what they need to do in order for their team to succeed. And maybe that's unfair to Sino, but I think that Sino deserves not all of the credit when Obey wins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to sound like that, but when Obey wins,
like all the flack if they lose.
No, that's not fair to him either. Yep. He just has a lot of weight on his shoulders with the way this team likes to play the game. And with that, he should be getting more. He definitely deserves more credit than he gets whenever they win, and he probably deserves less blame when they lose than he gets because people love to hate on his picks. But I think Sino is sick nasty at Smite and a good leader, and Obey will win if Sino and his play style mesh. If Obey plays around Sino and Sino hits that season 5 MVP stride, Obey can beat just about anybody, man. I think they could be really good.
I agree because in my eyes, their team is kind of full of role players, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Just when you think of people playing their role, those people do just what's necessary to play their role. And Sino, in my opinion, just needs to be just the overlord of that team and just tell them, kind of get the team cohesion going for everything, which I assume he's been doing this year based off like their objectives, the Executioner Stonecutting build that we saw come out, and just kind of pulling all the boys together. Kind of like, I would say in a Pain de Viande type. I don't know if people would even still remember him.
Yeah.
From like the newish people. Yeah. Basically the general,
I think. General.
Was his nickname. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he was saying, we're doing this, we're going here, and this play is happening, and we're all going to commit to this idea, and we're going to do this. And Sino basically has to do that, in my opinion, because it's not a bad thing that this team is full of role players, but I don't think anything that they do in those 4 roles is going to be kind of shocking and unexpected, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's just what their team is. I think they will struggle if Sino gets behind.
Yep.
Or if they're kind of what Aggro brought up earlier, whereas if their meta or their prep, everything they've been working for or towards just does not work on game day. And then you lose game 1 really hard and you go into game 2 draft and you're like, well, boys, do we do it again? And I think they might run into that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that Obey, like, if I'm in Sino's shoes, and I really think that there's a chance that, like, Hades Jungle, a pick that he's played a lot in ranked, like, could be good in competitive. And I think that it's weird enough that we could beat teams with it for free if I just play well.
Yep.
I'd pick it. I think that and Sino's been willing to play. Sino has played Hades Jungle, Chernobog Jungle, Raijin Jungle. I mean, that's like he's done it all, bro. And you know what? Let's put it this way, Barra. If Lasbra behind the scenes has been working on a Raijin Jungle, I would really, if you want me to say nice things about the draft, don't do that one when I'm on the desk for it. But if Obey picks it, I'm probably going to gas it. That's just the way, like, and it's not Lasbra specific. Sam's going to get mad if I say that he can't play Hades Jungle because he's here. I saw Nika in the chat. If Cherry really thinks that he's going to pull out on her jungle at Worlds, I'm probably going to roast him. But I'm just saying, if Sino did it, I think that you have to take risks in a team like Obey's shoes, and they can pay off, and they can pay off really, really big. So that, I don't know. That's the way I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Second most important member, still way behind Sino. For them, real quick, I would say Inbound. I think Inbound needs to, I wouldn't say step up a lot. I just think he needs to have career-defining moments.
Oh, that's all.
Well, I mean, it's Worlds. Like, if there's a time where you want to make the giant plays, this is it.
Yep.
And I feel like if Inbound can take some of the weight off of Sino and make the big plays and make the big engagements, and make someone's job easier, that I feel like Inbound can do that.
Yep.
And
Certainly capable.
he needs to, in my opinion.
Agreed. That team is not going to win if Sino and Inbound aren't playing really well, for sure. They play up against Sanguine, who I don't know what to think about this team, man. I mean, they were
Sanguine's pretty easy for me too. They just need to return to what they were.
right, but is that good enough? Because Worlds, as you know, brings out the best in all these teams. We see the highest level from all these teams. Is Sanguine I don't think to just playing like they did Phase 1 is enough to win. I think they need to be better than they were Phase 1. And that's a tall task when we haven't seen that Sanguine in the last few months. I think that they will win if someone besides Shinto can put pressure on picks and bans. If you can force teams to give Shinto hell or Persephone, some of those powerful gods that he can carry on, that's the easiest route for Sanguine's victory. I think that someone has got to make, Netruid has got to make Heimdall look unbeatable in his hands. Force teams to take it away from him and open up the draft for Shinto.
I think it's just super simple for me. I think they just need to return to what they were. I don't know if it's good enough to win Worlds.
Sure.
But I think that is a step in the right direction, because before it was they all played 2 picks and all those picks were insanely good and they would win games off of that. Yeah. And they're just like, they were role players, but their team cohesion in the late game would always bring them through. And they won so many late games against literally the best teams in the world, which sounds weird, but they literally came out of nowhere, and then they were beating late game, like, professional players that have played late game forever, and they were coming in winning late games against them. And I think that's what they need to do. I don't think they need to run some crazy pressure nonsense or bring out some crazy new strategy. I think they just need to play like a team again. Yeah,
I agree with that. Who do you think their most important player is? Because I don't know if we're going to agree.
Like, player that needs to make the most impact, or
yeah, however you wanna interpret it.
I would say Ronnie.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think mine is Yarkor, because I think Yarkor is good enough to, like, Benji this tournament, like just look unbeatable and force a ton of picks and a ton of bans around his god pool, and that ties into what I think the biggest key for Sanguine is, which is opening up the draft for Shinto. I think Yarkor could really, you want to talk about like career defining moments, I think Yarkor could have that kind of week with Sanguine, because I think he's sick. I'm a huge appreciator of his game. I think Sanguine will struggle if they expect to be able to pick the same things they've been picking all year and play the same style they've been playing all year, because clearly that style lost momentum towards the back end of the year. And going in and doing the same thing over and over and over again is just not going to work at a tournament like Worlds. That would be my biggest concern for them.
See, I'm on the other side. I will say it will work, because they did make it work for so long, and teams tried to break it and find their way in, and they didn't. But they're on the same side as Ghost and us, so there's a lot of things that we'll be playing, I assume both of our teams, that might break it open a little bit.
Get a little wild is what it sounds like, which is what I love to hear. All right, let's move on to who we'll see on Wednesday. Mind the Gap versus SSG is the first game on Wednesday. This Mind the Gap team, we've already kind of gushed about them. I think they're sick. I think their most important player is Layers. We've seen what Layers can do to teams. I mean, you'd think back to that hype unit run that they had. Was that last year only? Good Lord.
2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago?
It is 2021.
Okay, man. Season 6 is what I'm saying. When he was really dominating on on a lot of different picks and was just looking like an MVP level player. I think for me, Hype-Unit's going to win if they are able to drag teams into that SML playstyle of brawling all the time, just trying to keep up to a high pace of play, and layers is able to pop off. So I kind of answered 2 parts there, but that's their most important thing and their most important player.
I would agree. I would say the scrappier, the messier, the better. I don't think they need to come in with any crazy strategies or anything new. I just think they need to make the game literally as messy as possible.
Yep.
Play like it's ranked. Literally just run it down and see what happens. Because, I mean, they play SSG, right?
Yes.
Yeah, SSG has played against some absolute nonsense this year. So, kind of unfortunate for them. Because I think their win con is also what SSG will be prepared for.
Yep.
But I just think they need to just run it down. Like, don't worry. Don't ever second guess yourself. You literally have nothing to lose. Just literally hold your W key and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't think that there's any... Don't try and take it late against SSG. They could win a game like that, but feel like that's not really your strategy. And that's where I think their biggest pitfall could come. If Hype-Unit doesn't succeed, it's because they try to get away from what got them here, which is playing mean, playing sloppy, jamming every buff invade, whether it's good or not. And look, by advising this style, I'm basically signing off on Mind the Gap getting absolutely obliterated 3-0 by an SSG team who's ready for it, and then looking horrible, and then everyone in Twitch chat calling them garbage. Like,
yep.
I think that I'd rather see that than see them drag...
Try to take it to the late game against SSG.
Exactly. Like, who cares about it?
No.
Don't do it. Just get in there and make it fast one way or the other. And I know I've said that about games in the past because I'm casting and I'm tired. That's not what I want for Worlds. I want the best games no matter what. But I do think that's their best option to win is to play in that style. SSG. What are your first impressions for SSG?
I think SSG has kind of been a little bit of a letdown when it counts this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Is kind of depressing for me. Because I want to see them succeed and play really well.
Yep.
But I don't know if just for whatever reason, that just when it comes to game day, like at a really important time, things just... I don't know if it's like from last year or whatever, where they got like reverse swept by, I think it was PK. PK? Yeah.
Yes. Well, SK at the time.
Yeah.
This year's PK.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just like been in their brains forever, but I know these guys are insane if they like, I don't know, it's just I know they're sick. You know they're sick.
They're nuts.
They can easily win Worlds if everyone on that team hits their potential on that day.
Yes. And
I don't know. I want to say this team can easily win Worlds.
They can.
But it's literally in their hands, in my opinion.
I was going to say, I'm going to start with a negative here. SSG will... Well, maybe I could just frame this as the positive. SSG will win if they stay out of their own heads. They have to... And I'm not saying they're tilt machines. I'm not saying that, their mental is weak as players. They have to come into this tournament ready to play their best and then actually do it, which is really hard. It is not simply doing it.
You can't just be like, today's the day I'm going to play my best.
Exactly. And I've said it a billion times on this podcast, and I'm going to keep saying it because it doesn't get enough. He doesn't get enough credit. The fact that Zapman played for 43 years straight, got to Worlds Finals once, and played the best set of Smite he's ever played in his life is unbelievable to me because it is so hard when it matters the most to you to pop off in that manner. So,
and it's literally out of your control.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Your brain some days will just be hitting like hyper mode, and you will know exactly what play you want to make. Your comms will be perfect, and then your whole team has that same day, and you're like, man, this is nice. We
Yep.
literally can't lose,
Yep.
and
But
they
here's
just need.
that. It's interesting that you say that because to some degree, I do agree that it's out of your hands. But don't the real greats just force themselves to have on days when it matters the most? Like, do you think Jordan like woke up the day of a finals game and he was like, "Man, this sucks. I'm gonna play like crap today." You know what I mean? Like the best.
There's a difference
they
in
just
playing like
force it.
crap and playing good and playing slightly better than good than having your best day where you are just everyone's in the zone, everyone's focused, and you know that you can't lose. All those are so different.
Yeah, they are different, and I get it. And to a different, it's a different thing, but it's a similar vein. There are days where the game starts and I'm starting to, my brain's churning on what I want to talk about, and I feel like I just can see the whole thread of the game play out. It's like some Demon Slayer nonsense. I see the opening thread. I know where the whole game's going. And then other days, I have no idea what's happening at any point.
And then you're just like, okay, why am I not focused? And then you
Yep.
try to like force the focus, and you're focusing on one thing, but you're missing like 900 other things because you're
Yep.
so focused on like, I need to focus. And it's just random, man.
It's
Like
tough.
I've played
Gotta
in so many events, so many times, and like the times that your whole team hits a stride, it's so random. Like I think Mask hit a stride season 3 Worlds,
Dude.
and my man just
He was on fire.
Yeah.
I went back and rewatched that whole set recently, and dude, he was popping off. Like it was insane. I knew it was good, but I'd forgotten how good it really was. But that's just kind of, I don't know. That's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. I do think that the greats can get themselves in that zone. Maybe not to like 100%, like it happens naturally sometimes, but I think the greats can really get themselves to 95% or something like that. You know what I mean?
I would say that should happen naturally in a stage this big. Not a stage this big, but in an event this big.
Right.
Where everyone just wakes up and you're just ready to go that day. Like mentally, you were just
Locked
in the
baby.
zone.
In the
And
zone.
I think there's a big difference between like 95 and 100%.
Yes, I agree.
Because I've been in like that zone of, I know exactly how this team fight's going to go. I know exactly how the front line's going to play. I know exactly what I need to do to win this fight and win this game.
Yep.
And there's just such a difference between like, I'm going into this team fight. I pretty much know how I want to play it. I know kind of what the front line's going to do. And I hope it goes well.
Here we go. We're just going to try our best. Dude, I hope I get in that zone when I'm casting this week, man. I'm in my brain already. Okay, here we go.
Bro, what are you doing?
I know. Okay, here. You want to see me do it even worse? The prediction guys asked me to run an ad. I hope this goes well, but I have no idea what is about to happen here, chat. None. Let's see what happens. We might be right back with a quick ad. We might not. Who knows? Okay, wait. I'm going to do it this way. Okay. And then we're going to do this. Oh, baby. We are in business.
My heart is racing right now, dude.
Woo! We got a 50 times one. Another bonus.
Boom!
I love how pretty it is.
Ignition, and it's good. It's very good.
All right, chat. I did it. Okay, wait.
Wow.
We're coming back.
Wait, you're sick.
Dude, I'm going to be
You ran the ad.
I'm gonna be so good at Worlds this week, dude. Let's go! I'm already in the zone. It can't be.
Sick.
It can't be any easier, dude. There you have it. Okay, let's move on to our next team, which is eUnited. eUnited PK is the next one. That is going to be on the Wednesday. This eUnited team, I think, has the biggest gap between them playing it their best and them playing it their worst. I think they have, I mean, they could be anywhere on the scale, man. I mean, we're talking out of 100, we could, if they show up and they play at 100, they are literally good enough to win Worlds. Like, this team has so much talent, but we've seen them at like 30 most of the year, 25, 15. Like, oh wait, you're right. I'm sorry. We didn't finish SSG. What am I doing? We didn't talk about SSG's most important player, Barra.
I don't want you to be in your head. I just was gonna let you run with it.
No. I want to be on this. I'm in the zone. Not right now. Clearly, I was out of the zone the instant you said, "Hey, remember when we were supposed to have a guest on this episode?" And I felt horrible about it, and I still do. I was out of the zone, but I do want to finish talking about SSG. Who do you think their most important player is?
Cherry, easy.
Yep, it's easily Cherry.
And there's a big difference in him on like Erlong and Kali and just controlling the whole game and the picks that you were terrified of letting Cherry have. And then there's days where he'll just play kind of, I wouldn't say random gods, obviously, because he's practiced it, but I think he's a type of player that just needs to be put on his signature picks, which sounds really bad, but I don't mean that in a bad way. There's just, his Erlong is just something special, man.
Yep.
Like, he hard carries on that pick.
Yep.
And I just think he needs to play those kind of picks, just the Cherio picks, and just hard carry. Because I think that team, if they're not being, I wouldn't say controlled by Cherry, but yeah, I guess if he's not setting the pace on the map, that team will lose.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I agree with basically everything you said. Cherry has a very hard job because I think he is asked to wear the most different hats in the league. They play so many different styles, and Cherry's job changes a lot with those styles. But when he's on, man, team looks unbeatable. Okay, we're good on SSG now, right? We did all the things with them. Perfect. All right, let's talk eUnited then. Something about, they've got the biggest gap between when they play their best, when they play their worst. Just rewind it if you need to hear that opening spiel again. I don't know, man. A team with Scream and Baskin, if they both play at their best, they can 2v5. We just haven't seen that Scream or that Baskin all year, really. So is it fair to expect that of them? I don't know. I don't know if it is.
I'm most excited for that set.
That set is going to be. This is going to be insane set.
I'm all for the opening sets. I think that set's going to be the most fun to watch because
it's going to get wild.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Those games are going to be fun to watch. That's all I'm going to say.
It's very possible because neither team has shown any consistency all year. Like, PK had one really good stretch, but I could see either team. If you told me that set was anything, but I'd be surprised if that set's a 3-1. I'll put it that way. It's either going to be a 3-0 or a 3-2. I just don't see it's either going to be both teams playing really badly or really well, and it's really close and fun to watch. Or one team is going to play well, and one team is going to lay an egg, and it's going to be a 3-0.
Yeah. I just think. Yeah,
I cannot wait to hear whatever Scrim story I'm about to hear after this podcast is over. That is eliciting this reaction. That's gonna be fun.
So I'll just focus on something else. eUnited,
right?
I think their most important player is Scream.
Agreed.
And I think Scream knows that he is the pivotal point of that team.
Yep.
And he needs to. I mean, I feel like we've just been listing a lot of junglers, but I think that's just how Smite is right now.
Most important role
in this meta, where the jungler can just kind of control the map and control the pace and kind of set the pace as well. I would just say, I think they need to be having a good day that day if they want to beat PK. And I feel like PK is the same way.
Yeah, these two teams, man, they are very similar. and pretty different. I guess they're mostly similar in the sense that they're both inconsistent. eUnited, for me, I agree their most important player is Scream. I think eUnited will win if Scream and Baskin run the right side of the map. I have no worries about their duo lane. I think Snoopy was playing at a really high level at the end of Phase 2. I thought Gino was playing really well. I think Hurwind has gotten nowhere near enough credit for how good of a year he's had with all of this turmoil around that team. He's been really, really consistent. Scream and Baskin have to prove that they can carry because Hurry, Snoopy, Gino are all really good players at doing their job. I think it's up to Scream and Baskin now be the headline of this team. And I think that's been a huge identity problem for United all year is that they haven't had that headliner. You know, when we look at this team, it's, is Hurwin going to carry on Giannis this game? Or, is it going to be Snoopy popping off? And Snoopy's had those pop-off games, and Hurwin has carried those Giannis games. But it hasn't felt like them playing through those two players has really always worked. Let your shooters shoot, man. I don't know. I just think that Scream and Baskin have both proven in their careers that they can be the hard carries. They have to do it again for this team to succeed. eUnited will not succeed if they don't try. I think it's not even worth trying to play any other style besides picking their weird picks. Pick the Giannis high, pick the Bastet high. I don't care. I think that they shouldn't get sucked into playing other teams' picks, and they should stay at home, play what we know they're comfortable with. Like, dude, Scream was owning on Rat at the beginning whenever Baskin first joined the team. He was owning on that pick, and then it just completely disappeared. Let them pick their own weird things, and if they try and conform, I think that could be their downfall.
I agree. I just think they just need to show up that day. I think every day they play, they need to have an on day, which it's really a bad answer again. But if they do not show up against PK, I think PK will show up at Worlds over any other time during this entire year.
Yeah.
Not even saying that because of last year. I just think those players show up on game day.
Sometimes they did not at Phase 2 playoffs. We can say that definitively.
Oh god, I forgot about. Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That was rough.
It was rough.
Everyone but Zap was just
gunning it down.
Yeah, having a bad day.
Gunning.
And Zap literally didn't play playoffs.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to. His team was just like, today we're inting.
Sometimes that's the way it's going to be. This PK team, I think their most important player is good old Ronnie in the solo lane. I think when they play through the right side of the map and Scary is able to control the right side of the map, this team just gets to do a lot because he creates so much space for Paul and Zap to operate that it makes Paul's playstyle, which is more conservative, more successful because Ronnie's able to create more space for him. So, that means that Fred's going to have a good week. It means that Neil's going to have a good week for the same style. But, we've talked about it a lot on this podcast. When Scary D gets in those modes and he gets ahead, he is still so good at pushing those leads. So I think Scary's the most important player. But for their, PK wins if X happens. PK wins if they play at the same level they did last year at Worlds. And that seems like a lot to ask. I don't know. But it was a lot to ask of them then. If we were doing the show last year, we would have said SK wins if they play way better than they ever have before. And who knows if they can do that.
Yeah.
Well, they did it and they won. So they need again, it's kind of a cop-out answer, but we've seen the blueprint for this team. It's playing well defensively. It's taking games late, but with the ability to blow it open early with their solo laner.
I think for that whole side of the bracket, they will be playing through solo.
Yeah.
That whole side of the bracket is just solo meta. If you're controlling blues, if you're controlling backs, if you're doing all of that. Because eUnited and PK, we already know, are most likely going to be playing through solo.
Yep.
And then Radiance with Benji's Benji. They will be playing through solo.
Right.
Or at least they should.
Right.
And yeah, Scary D just needs to put on the backpack and just dominate solo side. And it's not even up to him in like the 1v1 so much. I think it's just his whole team being over there at the correct times.
Yep. Yeah, I think damn, I cannot wait for Worlds, dude. I'm so excited to watch that set. I'm actually so pumped. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll leak some of the schedule right now. I'm casting that game and I'm really excited because it's gonna be wild. There's gonna be some wild stuff, almost certainly.
I expect a bloodbath in that set on solo side of the map.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
I think Baskin's the same way. I think if Baskin gets behind, his impact. I mean, that's obvious. The player's behind, but
Sure.
I feel like it's just such a big difference in him and Scary when either one's behind.
Yes.
And those might just be complete snowball games, or they could be 4 people fighting at each blue buff, or basically a 4v4 at each blue buff.
Oh baby. I'm so excited, dude. This podcast getting me amped up. All right, we are getting pretty close to time, so we got to speed it up a little bit. We only got 2 more teams to go, though. Let's talk the number 1 seed, Ghost Gaming. I was talking about this on my stream before we went live. I think Ghost is the heaviest favorite to win a Worlds since Energy Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're that much behind how favored that Energy team was. They've won everything this year. I mean, they won Phase 1 playoffs. They won Phase 2 playoffs. They were number 1 going into Phase 2 playoffs in the standings. This team, I mean, Ghost wins if they stay out of their own way. They've shown it this year. And I'm not trying to say that if they lose, they choked. I don't think that's fair. But certainly that is like, if they play like they have been in relation to the rest of the league, they will win. And that is something that these last few years, I really don't think we've been able to say definitively. They've looked that good.
Yeah, I mean, for them to win, I just feel like they just need to not play bad, which they have done literally all year.
Yep.
So I feel like the list for them to win is just don't be bad.
Stay out of your own way.
They've been doing that literally all year, and that's the whole list for them to win. Like, it's just so simple, because I feel like their team of 5 players are just cohesively, I wouldn't say on a different level, but they've shown that they've just been above the competition literally all year.
Yep.
And it's been very hard to beat them for literally every team. And I think the only way they lose is if someone just has a very bad tournament for some reason and is just choking and playing really poorly, or if Mike is not able to control the pace and do what he wants on the map. Because I think PBM is obviously their most important player. And
obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Nope.
And the games that PBM is on, controlling the pace, it's just easy for them.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can't play the game.
You've got Mike, who has proven himself to be the best support in the league this year. Mm-hmm. I really don't think that's an arguable point. Sam has looked like the best jungler in the league. Fine has looked like the best solo laner in the league, especially as of late. Panda Cat has always been one of, if not the best hunters in the league. And Twig, all of a sudden, at Phase 2 playoffs, looks like he might be playing like the best mid in the league. All of a sudden. Uh-oh. You know, like, what? I don't know. I agree. Mike is their most important player. I don't have a whole lot of analysis here. Unless their prep is wrong, or they have really bad individual plays, I think Ghost is the heavy favorite to win. But even despite that, I still don't like. There are teams that would surprise me if they won, for sure. But there are still teams besides Ghost that it wouldn't surprise me if they won. It wouldn't surprise me if Radiance made a run and won it all. It wouldn't surprise me if SSG put it together and won. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's a good spot to be in, that we have the narrative of a clear favorite, but that they aren't uncontested. And I think that's the way to look at it. As for that Radiance team, I don't know. I think Radiance will win if Kenneth really steps up. I think he's their most important player. What do you know? Surprise, a jungler. But if he can get this team to their comfort zone of late game, and he's playing late game well, I think they can beat anybody. They've proven that they look great in these big game situations. So I think Radiance is really relying on getting to the late game without falling too far behind early, and they had to have figured out their drafts. I thought their drafts were inconsistent, even at playoffs. I think Ghost was the only team that was really able to exploit that. So for me, adapting most important player. Radiance will win if adapting is popping off. They will lose if their picks and bans aren't better than they were at Phase 2 playoffs.
See, I'm going to disagree, I think.
Please do.
Most important player, in my opinion, by a margin, is Benji.
Yep.
I think that team coming into Worlds, I would treat every game like it's Season 4 and let that man hard carry.
Yep.
And you just have to put that man in a position where he can hard carry and do everything on the map.
Yeah.
And I think Aurora is second for me. I think Aurora needs to have I would say bigger impact, but he just needs to get back into competition with PBM for being one of the best sports in the league.
Yeah, he isn't the focal point of this team like he was on previous teams, and that requires different stills.
You look at him now versus him last year on Splice.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cyclone and BM team are going to show up and play well. I feel like Adapting will show up and play well. But those two players, I mean, Benji, I think they need to put him in a position where he can just hard carry. And Aurora needs to facilitate that, in my opinion.
Yep. It's, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. I think Radiance is a team that I've been a bit of a doubter for that team at times, and every single playoffs they step up and they play their best. This is now the biggest moment of Season 7. We've said that every increasingly important game, Radiance has looked better and better. Maybe they can put it together and look really good. Again, guys, Worlds Conquest games start on Tuesday. But Community Joust Tournament starts tomorrow. Seeing a lot of questions in the chat about that. Barra, it's time for Worlds, man. It's time for Worlds. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I've got the nervous excitement energy that I can't wait for it to happen so I can stop worrying about it, as I always do. But I think despite all of the obviously very unfortunate circumstances, it's going to be a really good event. It's gonna be really good. Let me ask you this, Barra. You stay in your house is not you've got your place with Destiny, and then the rest of the Renegades all live together. You guys win Worlds on Sunday. Are you driving over to the team house?
Oh, yeah.
What's happening?
Definitely.
Okay.
We will be definitely celebrating that day. And I think I kind of owe it to Jake to win Worlds. I feel like...
Wow, 1 year and you already owe the guy?
Yeah, that guy is a disgustingly good player.
Did I tell you that I told my family about Jake Toast when I was home for Christmas? We were talking about food, And I was saying, yeah, this one guy, he eats this for breakfast every day. And no one judged him that hard. They said, sounds interesting. They'll try it. I haven't gotten a report back, but
What?
I don't know. They were open. They were open to it.
I'm pretty sure my family knows about it too, and they said it was disgusting.
Well,
so,
listen,
yeah,
they're probably
it's
right.
not great.
They're probably right, for the record.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it goes. All right, thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. Make sure I'm not forgetting about the question, for the record. I'm stalling for time to think about what I want the question to be. Thank you to everybody.
What kind of tea do you like?
What kind of tea?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually I don't drink tea very often. The only time I drink tea is during World's time, because it's good for your vocal cords. And the tea that I drink is from Starbucks. I don't really know what's in it entirely, but it's called a medicine ball. I think it's like, hold on, let me see if I can Google it.
That sounds disgusting. That sounds like it would
good.
just taste like medicine. Oh, I just searched medicine ball.
Okay. It's, 1 bag Tivana Jade Citrus Mint Tea, Peach Tranquility Tea, and 2 packs of honey. They also put some lemonade in there. And the mint is good for your vocal cords. Honey is good for your vocal cords, and citrus can be good in small quantities.
I feel like that would hurt your throat.
It opens your throat up a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So whenever I lost my voice season 5 Worlds? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was season 5 Worlds. I think I drank like 5 of them in one day. And I was on the earlier semifinal, and I was slated to cast finals. And I know the exact moment where it happened. It was when Moswall killed Fred when he was getting his red buff, and I didn't have enough air for okay, this is more technical. I didn't have enough air. Whenever you're getting loud and getting hype, the way you preserve your voice is that you don't actually use your vocal cords to change your pitch or tone at all. You just push more air, and so you bypass your vocal cords entirely. I didn't have enough air, so in order to get higher and get more energy, I strained my vocal cords, and it completely toasted my voice. So from that set on, that was the earlier set, I did not speak a word the rest of the day. Because the best thing you can do for your vocal cords is arrest them. So I didn't speak a word for the rest of the day. I chugged tea. I did go back into the venue at one point, but I changed my phone background to a note that said, "Not talking, trying to save my voice for tomorrow. Sorry." And whenever someone would come up to me, I would just show them my phone, and everyone was very understanding. And I got my voice back in time for finals the next day. And I thought I had a pretty good finals cast that year. So that's why I drink the medicine ball from
I just let you keep going with that one.
Thank you.
I went somewhere else. I feel like you needed to get that off your chest, and
Well, it was just a full story. I wanted to tell the whole story, you know? That's just kind of the way it goes. All right, what's your favorite tea there, John?
I don't have one. Tea sucks.
What?
What?
You let me go on that whole thing with a question you had no intention of answering?
Yeah.
Chad, do you see what I deal with? This 30-year-old man couldn't think about the next logical step in the way this goes. This is why I come up with the questions, Barra. Because I know that I'm going to answer them.
Okay, if anything, that was the perfect example of how you go so far into detail on your opinions about everything, and I'm just like, what kind of bread do you want on your sandwich? Any bread? Just a bread? Give me 2 slices of something that qualifies as
Was that
bread.
our very first episode? I feel like that was our first episode. In that moment where I asked you your favorite sandwich and you said, I don't know, bread, lives rent-free in my head. I think that might have been our very first episode, and that literally like infuriates me to this day. To this day, that infuriates me. Someone in chat is making fun of me. They say, ask Aggro what his favorite type of air is. Joke's on you. My name is Eric21. My favorite type of air is the air in the laundry room when the dryer's running because it smells good. There you go.
Mine's freshly cut grass.
That one bothers me because I'm allergic to grass, and that actually makes me feel like I'm going to break out in highs.
How are you allergic to grass?
I live. That's, I'm doing my best out here. That's all I can say. I can't lay down in grass or else I break out in hives. And whenever I smell freshly cut grass, I can't breathe as well. It's bad.
That would suck. I'm sorry. That's terrible.
I've gotten 28 years. I'll make it work. I'm not that worried about it. Everyone, enjoy the World Championships. I can't wait to bring them to you. I think that you're gonna love the look of the studio. There's a little hint, and you're gonna love watching the games. It's gonna be really fun. BaRRa, good luck. Imagine how lit the podcast is gonna be if you win Worlds, huh?
Oh well, I don't know if I'll be able to do it that night.
Oh, we're definitely not. That's a good programming note. There is no chance on Earth we do a podcast the night of a week from today, the night after finals. I'm going to talk with the prediction guys on when we want to do it. Monday, Tuesday, probably, and before the next weekend is going to be our game plan. And then off-season programming note, we're going to have a lot to talk about for season 8. A lot of that is getting revealed at Worlds. We're going to sprinkle. I think we're going to talk about we'll spend one show talking about only balance changes, and then we'll spend one show talking only about the map, and we'll spend one show talking about each class or something like that. We'll figure it out. That's what we're gonna do. But we'll stay tuned to our Twitters. Make sure you guys are following Prediction Esports. They've got a bunch of podcasts and a bunch of different communities, so make sure you check them out. Give us a good rating. Yada yada. BaRRa, you totally choked on your final buy of 29. You better kick off. This is good practice for Worlds. It's getting you in the right competitive mindset.
I've been the last 15 minutes. Because as your punishment for not letting adapting on the show, you have to do it.
No, what? You have to do it. It's your first one of 30.
You have to do it.
You're going to start off. You're telling me.
You're the one that forgot about the king.
First of all, you didn't remind me. Secondly, you're telling me.
I have to remind you about adapting?
There's only 2 of us, so one of us could have done our jobs. Listen. You're going to tell me that the week before Worlds, the day before the Worlds broadcast starts, you're going to cop out of you needing to do your job? Do your job, BaRRa. Hit the Gold Fury, man.
Worlds,
hit the tower. Hit the tower. That's your job. Hit the tower. Say goodbye, BaRRa. Do the thing.
No, you got to do it.
All right, here we go, chat. You tell me who did it whenever I go to the splash screen. Ready? BaRRa, you're going to do it first. 3, 2, 1. Any minute now, BaRRa. Put down the water, BaRRa. BaRRa took a drink of water. He's laughing. Don't spit it out on your computer, BaRRa. All right, here we go. And he's... Oh my God, BaRRa's choking. Someone get Destiny. BaRRa's dying.
I'm waiting on you. You can't turn this on me.
Bye! That was better than your last one of 29.
That's way better than my last one.